Harley Quinn made its big Season 2 premiere this week on the DC Universe app, and the debut episode was entitled New Gotham. I'm Cape Joel, and this is the video series where I take a closer look at the episode that was, give my thoughts and feelings, as well as shouting out any Easter eggs I can find. So, with that out of the way, let's hop right into the show, shall we? New Gotham begins not long after the end of Season 1. The Joker's tower blew up, and along with it, most of Gotham City. The president has decided that Gotham is officially on its own now, so basically, it's become a no man's land, you say? Seriously, of all the DC shows to try and adapt the No Man's Land storyline from the comics, I would not have picked this comedy one, but hey, I'm glad they're doing it. While everyone else is worried about their uncertain future in this lawless new Gotham, Harley Quinn, being an anarchist at heart, could not be more happy. After all, she's slayed her foes, and now it's time to live it large and party. Why, she even gets her two classic pet hyenas, Bud and Lou, who, if you didn't know, are actually named after the famous comedy duo Abbott and Costello. Now, Poison Ivy, always the level-headed voice of reason here, isn't really in love with this new status quo, but especially she's disappointed in her best friend's lack of vision. With both the Justice League and Legion of Doom gone, Harley could easily swoop on in and rule the city, but instead all she cares about is having fun and raising hell. And in fact, she might have waited too long, as the other surviving Batman villains start sending their goons to take what little turf Harley has. I gotta say, I love the design work on the different villainous gangs. Penguin's guys wear silly tuxedo t-shirts, Two-Face's guys dress like 1940s gangsters complete with Tommy guns. It's both great in terms of creativity, and it's a funny visual gag at the same time. Harley, at the end of the day, isn't unsympathetic to the plight of the goons and henchmen. She basically started her career as a gun moll for the Joker, after all. She tries to inspire the henches to rise up and claim their own happiness in this crazy new Gotham world, much like she did. The problem is, her pep talk works too well, and suddenly every Tom, Dick, and Harry thinks they can be the next big villain in Gotham City, so things quickly turn from bad to worse. All of this new chaos ends up catching the attention of the newly formed Injustice League, a lording group of Batman villains made up of a bunch of old returning faces, including Jim Rash's Riddler and the beloved Bane, who managed to survive the destruction of the Legion of Doom. As well as some new faces too, including Mr. Freeze, here voiced by frickin' Alfred Molina of all people, making this his second time voicing a big DC villain. He was the voice of Ares in that great Wonder Woman movie. What's even more surprising though is they decided to go with the very short-lived New 52 suit, complete with exposed arms and a little Snow White mohawk. Then, of course, you have Two-Face, here voiced by Andy Daly. No relation to me, even though we have the same last name. Neither of these two really get a chance to be funny just yet, but they do plant the seeds of what I feel is going to be a long-running joke this season about how Mr. Freeze says that, he's not like those other organized crime bosses because he has a sick wife he's stealing for, but ultimately, at the end of the day, he ends up doing all the same stuff as them. Now, at the other end of the show, we have Commissioner Jim Gordon, a cop who was already on the edge, but who's now hanging on by a thread in Batman's absence, just trying to keep some semblance of law and order in a city that's gone to hell. Then there's Damian Wayne, quite literally trying to fill his father's shoes and not exactly doing a good job of it. All he's missing is the big long leather trench coat, huh? Honestly, Jim and Damian have a pretty special comedic back and forth, and I could watch Burnout Gordon throw liquor bottles at annoying little kids all day long. It actually does seem to me like the writers do have a major story arc in mind for Jim this season, and we get to see him really lose more and more control and just see the city beat him down over and over again at every turn. And it's funny because Jim himself is funny, how he takes the bat signal with him everywhere he goes and how he breaks into song about what a great cop he is, even though that's so not true. Christopher Meloni really was the perfect choice to play this role, as he's a master of tightrope walking between soul-crushing sadness and gut-busting hilarity, and that's before we even talk about that chest hair, A+ visual gag. Ultimately, Harley is summoned by the Injustice League, whose logo is, I shit you not, just the old-timey Justice League logo from the comics with "in" scribbled on it. The Gotham gang lords are ready to divide up the city, why they even brought themselves a handy-dandy little map to do it. Yet again, something that was directly from the pages of the original No Man's Land book, if you didn't already know. It would also seem that despite how far Harley has come and all the victories she's won, the other villains still don't respect her, viewing her as just an ascended hench person, planning to offload all the worst parts of Gotham City to her as an empty gesture. And when Harley refuses this slap in the face, they opt to freeze her solid to take her off the table. This means that her crew must come together once again to pull off a daring raid of Penguin's club, the Iceberg Lounge. Again, this is filled with so many great gags in this segment, from the Goodfellas-esque tracking shot of everyone kissing the Penguin's ass, to the fact that we get to see Cy Borgman and Penguin interact this episode, which is great if you're a Seinfeld fan because it's literally just George talking to Newman. Now, the big action climax involves a still iced up Harley trying to escape while her friends use her as a frickin' battering ram. Also, without giving too much away, I think this episode also may very well have killed off a pretty major character. Of course, this is comic books and superheroes we're still talking about here, and dead rarely ever means dead forever. What I'm trying to say here is that it was an unexpected status quo shakeup in an episode that was filled with them and actually had one more big one to come. You see, as the episode comes to a close, we discover that Harley was in fact in the ice for 2 months, and in that time, the Injustice League made good on their threat to take over New Gotham, rechristening it New Gotham, and turning huge parts of the city into their own private themed playgrounds. Which of course means moving forward, Harley has a brand new quest for revenge and a whole new hit list to fill out. And so there you have it, everyone. That was New Gotham, a strong premiere for Season 2 of Harley. And you know, for being a comedy show, the writers really do showcase that they have very high aspirations when it comes to world building, characterization, and definitely arc-based storytelling. I always hear the show being compared to Venture Brothers, and I honestly think that idea is even more true here in Season 2. As this series also shows, it's not afraid to completely reinvent the wheel on the fly while also keeping true to what made people enjoy it so much in the first place. The jokes are there and funny as ever, the cast is likable, and from the trailers we can see there's going to be a bunch of new fan favorites joining the cast very soon. So as always everyone, this has been Cape Joel. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to stay up to date on all my new Harley content, be sure to follow me on Twitter. So until we meet again, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you all again next time. Bye bye.